When did you realize that your partner was not, in fact, the one?
Experience 1. This isn't a sad or dramatic one. We had a really good girlfriend and boyfriend type relationship, but when crap got real and long-term commitment, marriage, buying a house, having a baby, peered over the horizon, we both freaked out and bailed. Catalyst was my mate's wedding towards the end of the relationship, and I was embarrassed at how leery and drunk she was. She was annoyed that I was being no fun and wouldn't dance. There was no one else on the dance floor. We're still friends now. My wife is nothing like my ex, and my ex's new partner is nothing like me. Everyone involved made the correct decision. Experience 2. When I felt a sense of dread when coming home to her, or when I was at home and she was coming home to me. Wondering what triviality she would be angry about this time. Experience 3. There was a picture she painted of me years ago that hung on our wall. It was beautiful and was like a whole bunch of blue triangles that made out my face, and it's my favorite thing of me that's ever existed. Then one day, after a couple of bad years, she got into a relatively speaking small argument with me over something and started freaking out, tore the painting off the wall and destroyed it. The argument was so pointless I couldn't even remember what it was about a week later. I know it sounds dumb, but when she painted that for me at the beginning of our relationship, it meant everything to me, and after multiple awful years, that was when I knew things could never go back, and that painting an image I had of myself, and our love and relationship would forever be broken and unfixable. Experience 4. When I gave him a surprise and bought him some gym shorts, he didn't like them and started to throw a tantrum in my face, telling me how dumb he looked in the shorts and how he would never wear them at all because
Look at how stupid they are.
He then threw the package box in my face, and that was the moment I knew I had to run. Experience 5. When I found out that one of my close friends had suddenly died, I burst into tears, to which he said,
What are you insecure about this time?
and when I said I just found out my friend died, he turned around and walked out of the room. The next day I was talking to his mom about it in the kitchen, and she was comforting me, to which he again said,
Can you stop being insecure?
and his mom practically tore him in half with words. I left him soon after, and I'm now in a very happy and healthy relationship with someone who also helps navigate my grief with me. I miss his parents sometimes though. They were lovely people and deserved a better son than him. Edit to add, worth noting we were together for almost 5 years as well, so not a new relationship or anything like that. Experience 6. I was going with him to my friend's destination wedding. While getting ready with my friends, I curled my hair and asked them if it looked good. My gal friend said,
Oh, you missed a piece right here.
and helped me get it done with the rest. He immediately groaned and said,
Ugh, why'd you tell her? We could have made fun of her together.
Something about his joy at the thought of embarrassing me in front of my friends really just made me realize what a true asshole he was. I broke up with him as soon as we got back home. Experience 7. Hadn't had intercourse in over 6 months. Decided to go down on her when we woke up to rekindle the spark out whatever. She didn't move. I looked up and asked what was wrong, and she started crying. Finally admitted to my suspicions. After 8 years together and a move across the country to chase our dreams, she had been cheating on me for months with her boss's son. Straight up had a boyfriend behind my back. Experience 8. I always knew. It was way too intensely passionate, almost toxically bound to each other, and it was always extremely anxiety-inducing. Anytime I would bring up something that bothered me, it was an attack or me being negative. I walked on eggshells and constantly had to rethink my needs and wants to meet theirs because I was the asshole, so I needed to change, but it never was enough. We never spent time outside of either of our places, no dates, no follow-through on any sort of plans, etc. Basically, trust your gut. You may be wrong, sure, But if they don't try to meet you in the middle when you're asking for your needs to be met or try to make you feel secure when you have momentary doubts, they likely never will. It sucks, but that's all you need to know. Experience 9. Years, decades, too late. She wanted a goat that would live in the house with us. One that would go hiking with us and graze. I was vehemently against this idea. We still hadn't recovered from all the chicken stuff in the spare bedroom. The goat she brought home was crippled. It would never graze. It would need to be hand-fed for its entire life. She tried to bargain with me using intercourse. Experience 10. When the SWAT team captain said,
Your wife is out running around with people like this? You need to get a divorce.
My wife had a 6-figure job at one point, and we lived a happy life for a while, but she never grew out of her party phase from when she was younger. I was blinded by love, but no matter what she did, I would tolerate it and then forgive her. She lost her job from being continually late all the time, suspected of doing substances at work and taking too many martini lunches. Her substance dealer got her to sell substances for him while she was unemployed. Cut to her spending all hours out at night while I work a normal 9 to 5 and do homework with the kids. She would come home and be high from meth benders and completely detached from reality. Just did not care. One night I get a knock at the door while my kids and I are laughing and doing homework. It's the SWAT team captain, peering into the home to see my kids and asking if I can come outside to talk. I agree and am told with the door closed that the house is surrounded by his team packing MP5 and they are looking for this Dutch bag last seen with my wife who had shot someone over a deal gone bad. I'm mortified to hear this and get the question above that changed my life for the better. You don't love her. She's a menace. She will eventually pull you and the kids down. Divorce is worth every penny. Experience 11. When he couldn't even name one thing that he liked about me after 4 years of him constantly asking for reassurance from my end. Don't know how I stayed for so long in the relationship, constantly begging for him to actually like me even when we were together. Experience 12. When she saw no issue with the fact that she would be texting her ex-husband, now current husband if that makes things clear, giving him emotional support particularly when we were watching TV together or driving to a restaurant for a date night. Her excuse was,
I still consider him my best friend. She may have said one of my best friends, and I don't think there is anything wrong with talking to a friend.
5 years later we divorced, and she remarried him 9 months after that. Experience 13. I spend hours scrubbing the house spotless on my one day off from work. I pre-scheduled a delivery order of Chinese food for 7 p.m. I put on the new lingerie I had ordered and lit candles. I did my hair, nails, and makeup. Put on his favorite perfume. When he came home at 6, I enthusiastically told him everything was taken care of for the night, and we had a whole hour until dinner arrived to do whatever we wanted. I intended to be romantic. He got really angry. He didn't yell, his voice got weird and quiet. He said he knew I was manipulating him and ruining his plans to watch a DJ night livestream. He said I was acting like an intercourse predator. He said my mentally ill behavior was forcing him to make a no-kissing rule going forward, effective immediately, as punishment because I couldn't be appropriate. He said I was wasting all his money on takeout because I'm just a stupid gold digger who's bad with money. I only wanted to baby trap him so he wouldn't leave me. He was relentlessly angry and I was horrified. We had been together for 14 years, married for 4 years, and I loved him. He locked himself in our guest bedroom and only came out when the food arrived, then grabbed it off the counter and went right back in. Refused to look at me. I still hoped he was coming out after the live stream, so I sat on the couch alone and ate my dinner in silence for an hour. When I realized he was not coming out, even to apologize, I was overwhelmed with this soul-rending despair. I went to my room alone and cried myself to sleep so hard that I lost my voice the next day. I was so freaking lonely and scared all the time with him. That wasn't my first time seeing him transform into Judge Doom, and unfortunately, it was not the last. We divorced 2 years later when he left me for real. He still tries to make my life a living hell through the courts every possible second he can. Experience 14. She's still the one, but her 43-year-old son occupies our lives fully. Lived with us for 6 years, borrows and breaks almost everything I own, and is hostile most of the time. She will not do anything to change the situation irrespective of how often I ask, so now I am going to fix it permanently. Selling my farm and divorcing her is such a shame. Experience 15. I don't know. I think I knew for years, but I was still holding on to the thought that you don't just find a happy relationship, you need to build one. Was kind of oblivious to the fact that you need both partners to do the building though. What really struck me was that I was talking to a therapist once. I was seeing them for having far too much stress, which I now realize was mostly due to my wife, and when the troubles of my marriage became the topic for just a moment, the woman tried to cheer me up by suggesting that this was most likely a mere rough patch. Sure, we had issues, but they were mostly external burdens that were very taxing to work through. So, I should not lose hope and hold on to the things I loved about my wife and the reasons why I had married her. I nodded yeah and put on a weary but brave smile like you are supposed to at that moment, but in my mind, I realized there weren't any. There weren't any.
We hope you enjoyed listening to today's stories. If you want to see more stories, check out these videos or check the links in the description for more videos. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And ring that notification bell.